been wondering about the future. What's gonna happen in a time we aren't so sure about yet? Well, that's where I come into the picture. I'm gonna use this future-seeing bag to look like 20 or so years into the future and see just exactly what's happening. Hi, it's currently 2043, and last year for gaming was incredible. We had such classics like Madden 44, they skipped a year, NHL 44, they also skipped a year, FIFA 45, they skipped 2, and Call of Duty Testicular Sperm Wars, truly a classic to behold. I gotta wait 10 years for that? I want that now! Here's a shocker. Video games release. I refuse to believe that under every principle that I have. Then some get a sequel, maybe another game, or 2, or 3, or 18 because the publishers played hooky on the day their class learned what too much meant. Annual releases are old news. These things have been around since almost the beginning of time. Mega Man was at one point an annual series. That's how we got 6 of them on the same console. These are all valid complaints. Don't get me wrong. Never get me wrong. But some don't apply in certain instances, or there's underlying reasons why these series go on annually that the common gamer may not realize. For example, let's take a look at the most prevalent and common form of annual franchises, sports games. Let me speak! The Madden series of games from EA is an absolute pioneer in the sports games industry. It's one of the first American football games to be released annually, and for decades has been the only football game series to be officially licensed by the NFL. And I could do that too. If basketball is more your thing, the NBA 2K series is more or less Madden for basketball. MLB The Show is a Sony-owned franchise and was PlayStation exclusive up until the release of MLB The Show 21, which came to Xbox, and 22 coming on the Switch as well. It's nuts to me how the Madden of baseball was exclusive to PlayStation from 2006 to 2021, but Sony is really weird with exclusivity. Then going back to EA, there's FIFA for soccer, NHL for hockey. I think EA has a monopoly over the sports game industry. You've probably heard of one or all or even played these sports games at some point. Now, unpopular opinion alert, I think sports games should keep releasing every year. Yep, that's a death threat. These games are meant to replicate the feeling of real-world sports, which in of itself is a field that's constantly changing. Players switch teams switch logos, names, locations, even the rules of the game can change sometimes. And with the series like Madden that's been going on since the early 90s, annual releases are just necessary to keep up with all of that, especially since you couldn't just update a Genesis cartridge. They could just update these games, but not really. That's a stupid idea to push. Imagine the same Madden game from 2017 keeps getting updated, even though a lot of things in football are not the same from 2017 as they are today. The first Madden game starts off with a jump scare. I think it's necessary to keep releasing these. An argument against releasing these games every year is the fact that I put huge quotes and 5 asterisks next to replicate because, God, these games come out with huge bugs, glitches, etc. Every year I see people posting bugs from sports games, especially the ones from EA who make like 3 of them a year. Still though, I think sports games should keep getting annual releases, just EA needs to fix their shit. The closest thing to a sports game, but not really, is Just Dance, which has been going on and keeping coming since 2009. I'm just gonna get this one out. These do not need annual releases. You, I said. I probably just pissed off the entire Just Dance community, but the series stopped coming out on the Wii like 3 years ago. I don't think we need to keep releasing these. Just release one of these and keep updating that one with new songs. I remember having Just Dance 2016 and there was a subscription service to unlock like 80% of the songs. That's just the definition of unnecessary. Imagine paying $60 for a new game every year just to have to pay a subscription fee for most of the game. What's that? That's exactly what they're doing? Oh, that was fucking useless. What else is there? Next franchise off the table is probably the most notable one, Call of Duty. This thing was huge like 10 or so years ago. It used to be a juggernaut of the series. Nowadays, people still play it, but it wasn't as big as it once was. Wait. Son of a... Call of Duty has been an annual series since Call of Duty 2 in 2005. This series is different from most annual series, as every new COD is a fully fleshed out game with a campaign, multiplayer with different models and everything. It's nuts. The reason these games have been able to come out like this is due to the developer rotation Activision had going on. The series was initially developed by Infinity Ward, but then Treyarch came out with Call of Duty 3 in 2006, and until Sledgehammer Games released Advanced Warfare in 2014, one game would be released by Treyarch, the next would be released by Infinity Ward. Treyarch worked in the more historical games like World at War and the Black Ops series, while Infinity Ward mainly worked on Modern Warfare and Ghosts, games that either take place in the then present or slightly in the past or future. Nowadays, Activision just gets whoever the hell they can to work on COD. Toys for Bob made Skylanders and the more recent Crash and Spyro games, but the latest game they helped develop was COD Warzone, their free-to-play battle royale game. Spyro, Call of Duty, fits like a glove. I think releasing these games annually doesn't really affect the quality, but they do definitely affect the buzz surrounding them. The newest COD looks stunningly photorealistic, like it's genuinely insane how good this game looks. But the only reason I knew Vanguard existed was because I kept seeing ads for it while I watched shows on Hulu. I do think COD would benefit from ditching a yearly release. With free-to-play games being the new multiplayer wave, Activision could just focus on like Warzone or something instead of attempting to crank one of these boys out every year. Though I'm fine with COD releasing annually, but yeah, it could benefit from skipping a year or two like Assassin's Creed did. Speaking of which, Assassin's Creed doesn't do annual releases anymore, but they used to up until 2016 when they skipped that year, and they've been releasing Assassin's Creed games every now and then since. Before the games took a break, they were getting scrutiny for releasing in an unfinished state, so they responded with, mediocre movie. I don't know, I've never seen it. And then Origins came out in 2017 and was really well received, going even further back in time than the games prior, being set in ancient Egypt. I think taking a break for this series did wonders. 2018's Odyssey was set in ancient Greece, something that Mario Odyssey in 2017 wasn't. Very tonally similar games though. Mario is a series that I hate people saying it was annual for a while. Yes, games with Mario in the title came out constantly from 2009 to 2013, but they were all different sub-series. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, 2, and U were all released during this time period, U and 2 only coming out months apart. Then you have Super Mario Galaxy 2, a full 3D Mario game, then Super Mario 3D Land in 2011, a mix between 2D and 3D, with Super Mario 3D World coming out in 2013. I may be remembering this era with rose-tinted nostalgia goggles, but it's not as bad as people think it is. Yeah, sure, I was just a kid that kept going, new Mario game, when everyone else went, new Mario game. But playing these games even years later, they all have different identities. New Super Mario Bros. U probably is the least original out of all of them. It's basically just a spruced up New Super Wii, but 2 has a bit of a different style to it that I really enjoy. Now, I'm not diminishing the fact that there definitely was Mario fatigue. Nintendo fans were probably getting tired of endless Mario games when other series were kind of falling to the wayside. But yeah, the games took a break for a few years before Mario Odyssey came out in 2017, being a really damn good game. So, the big question. I forgot. Are annual release franchises needed in this day and age? I'd say only for sports games. While games like COD and Assassin's Creed can get by with it, series like Just Dance need to stop, and sports games, annual releases are only crucial. It's a very outdated release model dating all the way back to a time before you could just update your games, i.e. like 10 to 15 years ago. I personally don't think we need them anymore, really. Nowadays, it's just an excuse for publishers to get some more money. I think they've been useless for a long while, like since the beginning of the 8th gen. However, I still see people buy the new 2K, the new Madden, the new COD every year and talk about it, regardless if it's positive or negative. They still generate at least some buzz amongst live services galore. But you know what else generates buzz? Bees. So that's why I unleashed all these bees in my room. Maybe somebody will talk about me. I never said I had great ideas.